Well, a big development today with Gallup polling and a suggestion that the president's re-election campaign may be, quote, working the refs, as the expression goes, at one of the nation's biggest polling outlets. The Gallup poll had been showing a competitive race in from daily tracking poll last summer, when other firms had the president further ahead, right? So they were showing the race more even. This sparked some criticism from the left, including from the senior advisor to the Obama campaign, David Axelrod. And now we are finding out that with just weeks to go until Election Day, Gallup has changed its polling method in the ways that they were being pushed to do so by Mr. Axelrod. Tucker Carlson is editor of The Daily Caller and a Fox News contributor, and Marjorie Clifton is a former consultant to the Obama campaign and principal of Clifton Consulting. So now what they're doing is they're going to include, instead of 40% cell phones and I guess 60% landlines in their pollings, they're going to go 50-50. 50 cell phone, 50% landline. And that's what Axelrod wanted. And when he initially didn't get it from Gallup, Gallup said they felt threatened by Axelrod. So one employee came out to you guys, Tucker, right, to the Daily Caller, yes, and made a comment about how they felt it was Godfather tactics being used against them. Right. Sort of like the quote was, imagine Axelrod coming over in Brando's voice. I'd like you to come over and explain your methodology. You got a nice poll there. Shame if anything happened to it. Is that what has happened here?
Well, we don't know. And let me just say that was not a quote to us. We got internal emails between Gallup employees back in April when Axelrod sent this tweet criticizing their methodology over at Gallup. And so it's very clear. Contemporaneous emails show they were intimidated. Now, keep in mind, Gallup does polling for the government. Keep also in mind that Gallup has been sued by the Justice Department for overbilling the government. And so there are pressure points that you could exert on Gallup if you were the government. I'm not saying that is what happened. I am saying that this is a big deal because the Gallup Nightly Tracking Poll is a longitudinal survey, which is to say it's the same question every night over a long period of time, and its value is looking at it over a long period of time. You can see how people's attitudes on the same question have changed. If you tamper with the methodology 2 weeks before an election, you can't look at it in reference to itself or longitudinally anymore. You take a lot of the value of that poll away. So this is a big, big deal.
Marjorie, though, is it realistic to think that an organization like Gallup, one of, if not the most respected polling organization, would compromise its reputation just because it was pressured?
I find that very hard to believe, because the fact of the matter is, I mean, Axelrod is elected pressuring him. He is removed from the federal government in a sense. And so the idea that he himself could bully an organization like Gallup that would compromise their integrity as a polling organization, I find a little bit odd. Now, the reality is, polling institutions constantly change their methodology. Pew, in fact, just recently changed their methodologies as well to accommodate the changing trends in the population. The fact of the matter is the majority of the population is moving towards just having cell phones, not having landlines. And so what this does is allow them to gather better data. In the same way, they've shortened a lot of their questions, which will impact responders so that they actually respond more readily. And so they'll have better data. And the fact of the matter is, if you look at it a week ago, Republicans were very quick to own all of the Pew data and the fact that Romney was leading in the polls. So the fact that it's not trending towards them this week and that we're questioning it now seems a little odd to me as well.
Well, the questions were raised because they changed it, you know, in the middle of the election cycle, so close to Election Day, Tucker.
But let me just be clear. The cell phone change is not the only change was made. The key change is in the sample. Who gets the calls? And they've increased the size of the non-white sample in their sample set. Now,
and that's one of the things Axelrod really wanted them to do.
Yes, I mean, I think that's the key here. Now, I'm not suggesting, I have no knowledge that Gallup is doing anything wrong or that they're doing it because of pressure from the federal government or from the Obama campaign. I'm merely noting this is a big deal. It has had a measurable change on the poll outcome. And the bandwagon effect, as it's called, is real, which is to say, if people look at the polls and think somebody's going to win, if it's clear this person's leading, that person tends to get more support simply because he is leading. So this is not a small thing.
Go ahead, Marjorie.
But I would say that we're talking about fractions and just mere 1%, 2 percentage points. These aren't big, massive jumps that have overchanged everything. And, you know, truly, the methodologies are important because right now what we're seeing in the changes in Pew as well as in the changes of Gallup is to represent the census more. While they might trend more Democratic because they are acknowledging more of the minority groups that exist in the country, it makes them accurate. And, you know, I think, Tucker, we should go get our little tinfoil hat.
We got a hard break in 4 seconds. My apologies. We'll be right back.
Right.
Oh. Okay. This is what happens. This is what happens on live TV. You know what? We got a minute. Finish your point, Marjorie. You have all the time in the world. You have 60 seconds.
I was going to tell Tucker we should go get our little tinfoil hats and go geek out in the basement over the methodology numbers because I love digging into this stuff.
Wow. Wow. And then I really am going to wrap.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
No
Thank you both.
tinfoil hat for me. Thank you.
All right. Fine.
Although I bet that's an offer a lot of our viewers